Okay, good morning. Good morning, good morning. We're going to get started, and we have many friends with us already logged in, and many continue to join us, and we welcome them, but I'm going to get our program started. Good morning. It's good to be with each of you virtually. I hope that each of you, your families, and friends have been safe. I'd also like to welcome our new colleagues with us today, both faculty and staff, who are joining us for your first convocation at Fullerton College. This is our first convocation on Zoom. So like so many other things right now, it's not normally like this. I look forward to visiting with you, however, later today at our division and department meetings and in the weeks ahead as we have virtual meetings. Welcome to Fullerton College. Unlike most days, I'm on campus today, socially distancing, and as I walked across the quad towards the 100 building, it hit me again. Our traditions, convening in the dining hall for coffee, conversation, interesting stories about our summers, catching up about what we've been up to lately, getting together in our beautiful campus theater, you know, that walk from the dining hall to the theater. Like so many things this year, today's different. I've really missed each of you and the chance to connect on our beautiful campus. I miss our amazing students. I know you do too. And I look forward to the day when we will reunite at 321 East Chapman when it's safe to do so. And someday that day will come. As we begin our program, I want to pause and take a moment to acknowledge the land on which Fullerton College stands. I'd like to respectfully acknowledge and recognize our responsibility to the original and current caretakers of this land, water, and air, the Tongva peoples, and all of their ancestors and descendants, past, present, and future. Today, we're dispersed, and each of our homes is also home to many indigenous peoples from all over the world. We are grateful to have this opportunity to live and work on these homelands, and I encourage everyone to think and to research and reflect on the peoples on whose territories you live. Recognizing that land acknowledgements alone are not enough, I look forward to joining together throughout our campus community to create an anti-racist campus. Thank you for all that you're doing and all that you will continue to do in this effort. This morning, you'll hear from a number of our colleagues, including Chancellor Marshall, Kim Orligen, Marwan Luminarius, Joe Ramirez, Darnell Kemp, Rod Garcia, and Gil Contreras. I look forward to their remarks, and I know that you will also appreciate the updates they have to share with us today. Due to this pandemic, many of our traditions have been temporarily put on hold. One example was our in-person commencement. Although we're not able to deliver an in-person commencement so far and witness our students crossing that stage, I can hear Dr. Contreras' voice in my head, by the way, as I say that. We, along with our students, received the beautiful gift of music, courtesy of professor and concert choir director, Nicola Dedman, and our amazing music students. I hope you'll enjoy this video of their memorable virtual performance.
Professor Nicola Dedman, and I conduct the concert choir and chamber singers here at Fullerton College. Every year we look forward to performing at our graduation, since it's such a special time filled with deep pride for our school and its remarkable students. While we're sad that we can't be together in person on this great day, the concert choir and chamber singers gathered virtually to bring us together in celebration through an uplifting song. We will perform for you a song called Unclouded Day, arranged by Sean Kirchner. This song is about optimism for the world ahead of us, and I can't think of a better message to send off our graduates. Though the world right now is filled with uncertainty, nothing can take away the pride of what our graduates have accomplished, even in spite of adversity. Many unclouded days lie ahead for our bright and promising graduates. To the class of 2020, congratulations, and remember, once a hornet, always a hornet.
Oh, they tell me of a home far beyond the skies. They tell me of a home far away. They tell me unclouded sky. Oh, they tell me of a home where no storm clouds rise. Oh, they tell me of an unclouded day. They tell me of a home, they tell me of a home where my friends have gone. They tell me of a land far away, where the tree of life may eternal fruit, and the share the spread through the unclouded day. Oh, the land of boundless days, oh, the land of an unclouded sky. Oh, they tell me of a home where no storm clouds rise. Oh, they tell me of an unclouded day. They tell me of a king, they tell me of a king, they tell me of a king, oh, they tell me of a king, oh, in the city shall his red approach. Unclouded sky. Oh, they tell me of a home where no storm clouds rise. Oh, they tell me of an unclouded day. Oh, the land of cloudless skies, unclouded sky. Oh, they tell me of a home where no storm clouds rise. Oh, they tell me of an unclouded day.
Hello. I-
What a beautiful performance. Thank you, Professor Dedman, and our amazing Fullerton College music students. March seems so long ago. Although we're still in the midst of this pandemic, it's important to look back and recognize all that we've accomplished together, thanks to your efforts. Later in today's program, some of our presenters will share about the many accomplishments and also the many supports that are currently in place to help our students navigate this pandemic and achieve their goals as they prepare to return to classes this semester. Last March, in just a few days, our faculty and staff, each of you, pivoted the entire college to deliver instruction and support services in a remote format. That is extraordinary. Since that time, our campus heroes, consisting of our mighty classified professionals, our faculty, and managers, have worked hard to maintain the operations of our college in a remote setting. Led by our colleague and hero, Distance Education Director and Professor Darnell Kemp, the groundwork laid by our distance education team of experts allowed us to rapidly transition to remote learning in March and offer robust support to our students, faculty, and staff. A group of constituents from across the college began meeting as the pandemic became increasingly more serious in the first portion of our spring semester and continued to meet after our campus closure. This team, now called the Safe Return to Campus Task Force, has continued to meet to help provide input to the input to the district-wide COVID-19 guidelines manual adopted across the district and to inform our campus level planning for a safe return to campus. That group, working together, has consistently aligned planning and operations with guidelines from the CDC, state, and local officials, and will continue to do that moving forward. I want to say thank you to each of the faculty and staff and managers who've participated as part of this group. Updates on this important work will be shared at the President's Advisory Council and other governance groups as we resume our virtual meetings this fall semester. Next slide, please. In order to operate and deliver learning and support to over 20,000 students in a pandemic, it takes a legion of heroes, as I said, to make it happen. Classified professionals, faculty, and managers are these heroes. I want to take a moment to especially thank our classified professionals and managers who conducted their essential roles on campus, in person on campus for a portion of each week, or in other cases, the entire week. Our heroes in campus safety, custodial, grounds, maintenance and operations, ACT, financial aid, and other support services across student services, instruction, and administrative services. Thank you so very much for all that you're doing and continue to do. And now, to our essential faculty and staff who are conducting their work remotely. You are amazing, and I am so proud to work alongside you at Fullerton College. And our 20,000 students are thankful for you. The critical work that you've continued to do has been done while many of you have homeschooled your own children or grandchildren, tended to elderly parents, cared for your partner, friends, or a wife or husband, and we're each coping with your unique set of challenges, working and living through a pandemic. I want you to know that doing the best you can is perfect. We're in the midst of a pandemic. Doing the best that you can, each of us, is more than enough. So then let's continue to do the best that we're able to do and look out for each other and check in on one another. Let's keep the Fullerton College community strong and supported as we await a safe return to the campus someday. Next slide, please. A critically important area of focus as we move forward and resume operations this fall is becoming an anti-racist institution of higher education, specifically working together from reflection, inquiry, and examination to planning and action. Like many of you I've spoken with and listened with, I've been doing a lot of reflecting, listening, and reading. I've been educating myself to have a better understanding and to grow into a better version of myself as I serve our campus and our community. Most recently, one of the books that I've been reading is one that some of my colleagues had recommended by Ajoma Oluo, titled So You Want to Talk About Race. Now, I know some of you have read this book. Perhaps you've read this, or maybe you haven't. I encourage you to read it. In fact, I invite you to join me in reading it, and I'm going to make arrangements to provide you with a copy. For any faculty or staff who would like a copy to read, a follow-up invitation will be sent in the near future with more information. One of my favorite quotes is shown in this slide, and it gives me hope. And I feel that hope is critically important in a time where we're experiencing so many different emotions. As Jyn Erso said in Star Wars Rogue One, rebellions are built on hope. I'm sorry, she said rebellions are built on hope. And we're in the midst of a rebellion. So the quote, "The beauty of anti-racism is that you don't have to pretend to be free of racism to be an anti-racist. Anti-racism is the commitment to fight racism wherever you find it, including in yourself. And that's the only way forward." So I join you, and I ask you to join me in committing to critically examining ourselves, our work processes, our procedures and practices to identify each of those things that promote or sustain racism. Systematic racism and institutional barriers stemming from white supremacy continue to exist throughout our society, throughout this city, throughout academia, and throughout our own college. As educators, we not only have a unique opportunity, but an absolute responsibility to lead our community and our campus community and all those we serve to a better future. We have an opportunity in this moment to reflect, respond, and systematically create a renewed Fullerton College experience that is truly anti-racist, both by design and in action. I'm all in, and I thank you for your commitment moving forward. Next slide, please. Last February, Fullerton College made a commitment to become part of a new Equity Alliance, a partnership with the USC Race and Equity Center. As a member institution, we'll be able to send 60 faculty and staff to upcoming e-convenings focused on a variety of topics related to race and equity in our community college system. In fact, in June, with a relatively short notice, an invitation, but we appreciated the invitation, we had a chance to send 20 faculty and staff to attend an inaugural e-convening with the USC Race and Equity Center. And as we begin the fall term, we're prepared to introduce a process and really discuss and formally adopt a process to invite interest and identify participants for these upcoming e-convenings with the USC Race and Equity Center. Over the summer, faculty and staff have been discussing and developing potential next steps for both planning and action as we work to address systematic racism and become an anti-racist college. Following an e-convening hosted by the USC Race and Equity Center and a campus forum in June hosted virtually by Dr. Sean Harper, our Emoja program has hosted a series of porch talk and town hall sessions open to students, faculty, and staff. This is just one example of the many conversations that are happening and will continue to happen. But I want to take a moment to thank and acknowledge our Emoja program manager and leader, Brandy Avila, for her ongoing leadership and for leading with love for our students. Thank you, Brandy. I, along with members of President's staff, have met with our Faculty Senate executive team to discuss anti-racism and potential steps forward as we prepare for the fall semester. I've also met with classified Senate leadership and Associated Student Senate leadership to start conversations in partnership about anti-racist efforts at Fullerton College. In addition, members of the Fullerton College Black Faculty and Staff Collective met with me and members of President's staff earlier this week to discuss a number of recommendations they have for our college and district to achieve meaningful and lasting results from our anti-racist efforts. They will be meeting again with us, and in the future, we will be sharing updates with campus governance groups as the fall term resumes. The subject of race and racism is not easy to discuss or address, I know, for anyone, but it's critically important for everyone, for us to become the college we want to be and need to be for our students and for each other. I look forward to the dialogue, reflection, and action as we launch this new school year. I would now like to virtually introduce a video message from our Chancellor, Dr. Cheryl Marshall.
We're reflecting on the importance of being connected to one another and to our students. The best moments of a typical year are when we celebrate students. It's during these occasions when our values and beliefs are crystal clear. We want students to achieve their goals. But even more significant are the feelings of joy, pride, and connection. I'm looking forward to the time when our students are back on campus and we can see them face to face. Thank you for continuing to educate and support our students during this difficult time. One silver lining to the effects of the pandemic is the knowledge we are gaining about what can be done online. We are learning a lot about automating processes, using online content for instruction, and providing services to students. I encourage all of us to think about how we can adopt the best of these new approaches after we return to our campuses. Through the Black Lives Matter movement, we have also seen a heightened awareness of the need for social justice and equity. While this has always been an important value for us, we have an opportunity to take meaningful actions to remove systemic barriers for our Black students and employees, and for all people of color. 50 years ago, Dr. King told us that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. We must all take part in courageous conversations and actively find solutions to make our district a welcoming and inclusive environment for each and every individual. Thank you for the resiliency you have demonstrated in the midst of chaos. I encourage you to keep taking one step at a time, to show empathy to one another, and to be patient with our situation and with each other. We will navigate through this and emerge as a stronger educational institution. To our new employees, I look forward to being able to shake your hand and offer a face-to-face welcome. We want to ensure that you have a successful start to your time at our district and will provide support until we can get back on our campuses. Hopefully, we will be able to resume more on-site work in the next 6 months. Until then, stay well and stay safe. I look forward to seeing you in the near future. Good morning.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Kim Orligen, and I teach English, and I'm proud to serve as your Faculty Senate President. I hope that you all had at least a little time this summer to decompress and to relax. Most importantly, I hope that you and your loved ones are safe and healthy. We are embarking on an academic year like no other. Many challenges lie ahead of us, both in terms of continuing to deliver excellent instruction amidst a global pandemic, and in terms of finally reckoning with the individual and institutional racism in this country and at this college. But we can also view this upcoming year as an opportunity. We have the opportunity to reimagine our teaching, to remake our services, to reinvigorate our shared commitment to our students. While the coronavirus will hopefully be managed one day so that we can all again return safely to campus and the classroom, without us doing much more than wearing a mask and supporting science and politicians who support science, racism is a harder, more entrenched challenge to overcome. It is therefore something we need to commit to taking on ourselves in as active a way as possible. We've talked a good deal in our college about equity and anti-racism. It is now past time to realize those words, and we are taking important steps, some of which President Schultz discussed a moment ago, to destroy the barriers and the practices and policies that have oppressed Black, Indigenous, and non-Black people of color on our campus. Often racism and oppression take forms that we don't recognize as such. Those forms are invisible to many. They are just the way things are done. But we must confront the fact that the way that things, policies, practices, procedures are done and have been done for decades, if not centuries, need to change because despite being invisible to some, they have very real negative consequences for many. You know this, but it needs to be recognized repeatedly. The root of the American educational system lies in white supremacy, patriarchy, and heteronormativity. It was built for and by white Christian men. The foundational principles have not disappeared. Whiteness is operationalized in many of our classrooms. Beyond, but also and importantly including curriculum, some of our pedagogical approaches value norms of whiteness. They may not seem to have anything to do with race, but that's part of the reason why racism is so entrenched. Namely, because many of us deny that race has anything to do with things like classroom policies, when race has to do with just about everything in this country. Social and educational norms, expectations, and practices are really white norms, expectations, and practices. And they were built to propagate and promote white success, wealth, and power, and concomitantly to decrease and impede the success, wealth, and power of Black, Indigenous, and non-Black people of color. When we examine our own classrooms, our own policies and pedagogies, for instance, many of us can, if we open our eyes and look for them, see remnants of white and Eurocentric values. For example, including punitive language and policies in our syllabi, prioritizing individualism, competition, and meritocracy, instead of community-oriented and collaborative thinking and working, prizing perfectionism above everything else, considering our courses gatekeepers. If we look for policies that create racial inequity with anti-racist eyes, we can root them out. As Ibram X. Kendi states, all forms of racism are overt if our anti-racist eyes are open to seeing racist policy in racial inequity. How do we at Fullerton College tackle all of that? We need to begin by rethinking and questioning every one of our pedagogies, practices, and policies with an anti-racist and decolonizing lens, and then acting to change them. And we need to push each other, to call each other out, and to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Comfort does not lead to change. The faculty at Fullerton College must take a central role in helping us fulfill its commitment to being an anti-racist institution. The Faculty Senate, as the representative body of the faculty, must therefore do more than tacitly or passively support anti-racist endeavors on campus. Instead, it must actively engage in anti-racist work within its purview of academic and professional matters, while also centering the voices and experiences of Black, Indigenous, and non-Black people of color, students, faculty, and staff. To that end, my goal for the Faculty Senate this year is to create several anti-racism task forces. I know what you're thinking. Do we really need more task forces or committees? Don't they just talk without ever acting? However, if the Senate approves these anti-racism task forces, they will first and foremost pledge to become agents of change. Their charge will ultimately be to create, with input and guidance from the Black Faculty and Staff Association and other expert groups on campus, from data and from outside research, clear recommendations and action plans around, for example, how to implement the best anti-racist pedagogical practices and policies, how to infuse budget processes and integrated planning with an anti-racist approach, how to review degree and certificate requirements using an anti-racist framework. Assuming the Senate supports the task forces, I invite you to become involved in them and to help ensure that the action plans are acted on. Faculty have the power to create change at Fullerton College, and we must wield that power now. If the last several months have done nothing else, they have certainly shown our resiliency, our inventiveness, and our determination to make the learning and the success of our students central. I am confident and hopeful that we can take concrete steps this semester that will lead Fullerton College to be an actively anti-racist institution. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I guess it's my turn. This is actually way more intense than being live because I see my face right there. Good morning. My name is Marlon Luminarius, and it's my pleasure to welcome you back on behalf of Classified Senate. Sort of. This is our life now. We live on Zoom. I can imagine what you've had to go through these past 6 months, and I won't diminish that with jokes or quotes that I found on Pinterest. But I do want to remind you of what we've been able to accomplish together. These past couple of months have been difficult, but I've seen what you've done for our students. We've had to confront some challenges on our campus. For example, we learned that structures built during the Great Depression were not exactly the best at the whole parking lot Wi-Fi situation. We also learned that some of our students don't have enough to eat, let alone their own laptop at home. We learned that classified professionals are essential. And we learned that together, as educators, we are pandemic proof. We even took the most American concept, the drive-through, and adapted it to meet the needs of our community. From health to hygiene, to care packages, even caps and gowns. We did that together. Next slide, please. Classified Senate is dedicated to that sense of togetherness. Despite the pandemic, we want to continue the tradition of honoring and recognizing the work of classified professionals. Our award recipients for spring 2020 were Adriana Goncalves and Carl Peters. Both of them were nominated by their colleagues for making Fullerton College a better place to work and study. Congratulations. I'm going to pause, assuming that you guys are applauding. Next slide, please. Oh, it already happened. So for the first time ever, we have 4 incredible classified professionals for Classified of the Year. But we can only choose one of them. Spoiler is the guy on the screen. I'm happy to announce that our award winner embodies all the qualities that we have come to appreciate and admire in these difficult times. They are selfless, they're a servant leader, and they go above and beyond for our campus by keeping our classrooms and offices clean. Our Classified of the Year award recipient is Mr. Kurt Meredith. Congratulations, Kurt. We'll try to mail you the certificate and award. So until the campus reopens and we're able to see each other again and eat some extra food, please stay healthy and safe. I don't know what challenges we have in store for fall 2020, but I know that we will face and overcome them together. Thank you and have a great semester.
Thank you, Marwin, and good morning, Hornets. My name is Joe Ramirez, and I serve as the Interim Director for the Office of Institutional Effectiveness. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share a bit about the college's enrollment, and I want to acknowledge our colleagues in Institutional Effectiveness, A&R, ACT, and many others who make such data possible. It's my hope that these next few slides can help us build a common understanding of what transpired during this recent summer term and what we might expect once the fall term starts on Monday. Before diving into a few specifics, I want to start by saying that we continue to build and improve tools which provide timely and relevant insights into the status of students' course registration and enrollment. And in advancing the slide one bit, please, you may see a few of them here. While they provide important pieces of information, they fall short in their ability to reflect the tremendous amount of work of everyone in this virtual room. It's amazing to reflect upon what's behind each registration appointment, each course offering, each student enrollment. Even still, these tools do help illuminate the resilience of the Fullerton College family, especially among our students, as well as illuminate the opportunities that lie ahead for each of us individually and for our community collectively. Next slide, please. Here on this slide, we start by looking back at the summer term, which was characterized by tremendous growth. In fact, we engaged 1,400 more students than we did last summer, an increase of 17%. Just under 10,000 students were enrolled this summer. Given the remote environment, students had the ability to take more courses, and so the total enrollments or seat count increased by nearly 30%. And amidst this growth and in a completely new remote environment, we report that students succeeded in their courses this summer at the same rate as they did last year, 78%. What accounted for this growth? Our analysis showed that there were more students than usual who continued on from spring, and more specifically, those who withdrew from one of their courses. While we did see an uptick in new students compared to last year, it was the students who had withdrawn from a course in spring who pushed on into summer, these resilient Hornets who were responsible for a significant part of our summer growth. As for this fall, there are about 20,600 Hornets currently enrolled in one of our courses. This is a decline from last year, about 4% at the day of convocation, and as you might see, a decline of about 1% in our seat count, which currently totals over 60,000. While that's where we are now, it is important to note that a few weeks ago, the declines were much greater, in the double digits. And so there has been a steady comeback to a count of students and seats that is more comparable to a year ago. It will be exciting to see where we end up. And it's humbling to think that looking back at last fall, 9% of students enrolled in only online courses. It's over 96% now. That transformation is hard to grasp. A note about this fall is that there have been uneven increases and decreases compared to last year. We note that there are some courses or programs that have experienced growth, while others so far enrolled fewer students. a reflection of the fact that courses do not have the same demand in a near fully remote environment. Similarly, we note that the overall decline of 4% in student headcount obscures trends that are happening this fall, including two that I will highlight. One, and Lisa, you can go back to the previous slide, please, that's okay. Thank you. One, there are more students aged 25 and older enrolled than last fall. Not surprising given the increases in unemployment. While there has been a notable decline, though lessening, among students under age 25. Two, there are more students who identify as Latinx and female this fall than last, about 1.6% more, while there are much fewer students who identify as Latinx and male, about 8.5% fewer. We've noted a similar trend for students who identify as Asian American, whereas among students who identify as Black, irrespective of gender, there are fewer students enrolled than last year at Fullerton College, though there are differences in rates by gender. While the comparisons in enrollment are to last year, we know that the current environment and climate are incomparable. As a result, I will not attempt to answer why. I don't know for sure, but I hope this has provided some insights. There are many more layers to consider into what we've seen so far and what we might expect as a community on Monday. Next slide, please. Lastly, we wanted to quickly highlight our first-time students. A recent analysis indicated that in the past few fall terms, we've welcomed about 3,400 students into the Hornet family each fall. These are students who are taking their first ever college course after high school. Now, among these first-time college students, many will join the North Orange Promise, Fullerton's program that provides 2 years of free tuition to California residents and 8540 students. While I mentioned that enrollment among students under 25 years of age has declined, including a 9% decline among students under 20, there are more first-time students who've signed the promise agreement at the time of convocation compared to last year, about 200 more. And here on this slide, in moving one step forward, you see that there are about 2,400 first-time resident students, 2/3 of whom identify as Latinx, who've enrolled, who've signed the agreement, and are working towards full eligibility. 85% are already full-time or approved for less than 12 units by Disability Support Services, 73% who have completed their financial aid. And for the first time, the program includes students in their second year, of which there are over 1,700 who may be eligible for a second year of free tuition. Serving over 4,000 students, though some may not reach every eligibility requirement, it's possible that about 1 in 5 students at Fullerton College this fall will be associated with Promise in some way. While I've had the opportunity to share this information, I want to recognize the incredible work of everyone who has played a part in welcoming, enrolling, teaching, supporting, and inspiring our more than 20,000 students. To me, the work we do is more important now than ever. Be well, Hornets. I turn it over to our colleague, Darnell.
Good morning. It's important to recognize that this was a huge team effort with, of course, those behind the scenes and our amazing faculty. The list of people that stepped up to assist distance education is long. It really took the village of Fullerton College to make this happen. I worked with so many, and my biggest fear is to leave someone out, but here it goes. First and foremost, I want to recognize Corey Thomas, who became my instructional designer and right hand while still managing the alternate media specialist responsibilities. If I was to list all that Corey did, we would be here until at least Monday. We also have amazing distance ed division reps here at Fullerton College who have worked tirelessly since this all began. Laura Malella, Christina Ariano Duenas, Arnett Edwards, Tim Espinoza, Angela Henderson, Eugene Rosen, Robert Diaz, Roman de Jesus, Garrett Campbell, Anu Monde, and Kevin Sampson. I know your faculty and I are really thankful for you. We have also recently added Kristen Mihailovic and Nicola Dedman as fine arts reps for further support. Stuart Kimura and Tony Kwok, who took over Zoom in late February, handled the mad rush and made creating accounts a priority. The OTC team has always been hardworking and stepped up to do 2 large trainings in spring and summer. 160 faculty completed the OTC during this time. In addition, they held Zoom trainings and created other support material and workshops for our faculty. Garrett Campbell, Angela Henderson, Roger Perez, Corey Thomas, Kim Vandervoort, you are all dedicated to online education. And Kevin Sampson and Laura Malella stepped up to help us facilitate such large groups. In addition, the OTC team worked closely with Distance Ed at NOCE prior to this, and the NOCE training based on our OTC model has been very successful. Our Faculty Senate President, Kim Orligen, is dedicated to representing our faculty and ensuring that communication and understanding happens at all levels. Kim and Jennifer Combs helped with the Title V course. Mary Bogan, Ellie England, Danielle Fouquet, Angela Henderson, Deidre Hughes, Laura Malella, Kim Orligen, Jeff Rodine, and others stepped up to respond and work with students in Canvas orientations and courses. Jean Costello and Heather Tremino in staff development helped with training and paperwork. Hornets Tutoring saw this as business as usual and continued to tutor and help students. ACT and Michael Cortez, a huge thank you. Michael, you're my go-to when I'm out of my technical element. And even though you are super busy, you always make time to assist Distance Ed. Gabriel Rodriguez and the help desk provided constant student support and work to provide answers. Raina Martinez-Stolka and A&R always prioritize students and work to make sure Canvas reflects what's happening in registration. District IT worked very hard behind the scenes to do extra updates, fix courses, and modify programs to work with the load of students and faculty in Canvas. The librarians worked to make sure online educational resources and library sessions and trainings were available for our faculty and students. All the deans and division offices provided constant support and quickly answered questions. Jose Ramon Nunez, it's hard to put into words my respect and admiration for you. You are a joy to work with, and I really appreciate all your support and guidance during these challenging times. The VPI office, Erica Atakai and Jamie Padilla, you both are truly essential. Dr. Schultz, I've never been more aware of just how challenging leadership can be. Your wisdom, thoughtfulness, inclusiveness, and intelligence led us through the spring and summer semesters, and now will lead us through 2021. And again, Angela, Corey, Laura, and Garrett, you were there every day, every step of the way. You are all wonderful colleagues and ever the best of friends. And everyone, all the staff, faculty, and admins, so many Hornets working with each other to move online. I'm so proud to be part of this Hornet family. And now, a bit about what we accomplished in training. Fullerton College's online teaching certificate, which we started in 2016, had 220 faculty certified before March. 380 faculty are currently certified by this OTC process. For equivalency, we had 39 faculty before March. We now have 90. Roger Perez and a few members of the DE Advisory Committee have worked hard to review paperwork and ensure our standards are met. The Online Learning Consortium, who with the help of Dr. Greg Schultz and Dr. Cherry Lee Bug and the board, we became institutional members and were able to arrange for four cohorts to go through training approved by the DE Advisory Committee. 57 faculty completed this certification and more are in the process. We also have CTE certification, which Laura Malella, the business DE division rep, brought to my attention, and she and I worked together to audit and select 4 courses to meet Fullerton College's requirements for online certification. And the DE Advisory Committee also approved this path. 32 CTE faculty have completed this training, and 26 faculty are still completing the courses. We also have a path through @1 for certification. These courses opened midday in April, and a few of the Distance Ed division reps worked furiously into the night to get 15 faculty into 2 courses that were highly coveted by all of the California community colleges and filled by the end of that first day. The total number of Fullerton College faculty certified prior to March 2020 was 281. The total number of faculty certified to teach online now is 578, and you can see those 578 in the slide. Distance Education also created a 5-hour Title V training. As of this date, we have had 332 completions. Yesterday, we completed a joint flex day with Cypress College that was very successful. In student news, next slide, please. During spring and summer, Deidre Hughes and the Fullerton College Mindful Growth Planning Group held online workshops that had 512 students participate. Eugene Rosen had 1,444 students complete the library workshop. Carol Henke held a virtual art gallery, and our associated students had the highest turnout for their online campus election. In addition to training, there are new tools inside the Canvas learning management system. The City Labs design tool, which Fullerton College purchased in January. This tool improves course design, accessibility, and course readiness. It allowed us to create templates that brought our beautiful campus to Canvas and guided faculty in course design and students in courses and resources. The Universal Design online content inspection tool, You Do It, which identifies accessibility issues and guides faculty to quickly and easily fix those issues. Pronto, to assist with faculty to student and student to student interaction and has been used widely by Hornets Tutoring. Canvas Studio, which provides a screen recorder and video hosting for both faculty and students, and also allows for quizzes to be added to videos. PlayPosit, which creates highly interactive videos. Canvas Chat and 24/7 support hotline to provide extra technical support to faculty and students. MathType for math notation. And verbic captioning through working with Dr. Cherry Lee Bug, NOCE, Cypress College, and is now provided to us by the district. We have a robust learning management system and training available for Canvas and all that we have integrated. As we embark on the fall 2020 semester, we have the people, the training, and the resources that will transform lives and inspire positive change. We will virtually foster a supportive and inclusive environment for students to be successful learners, responsible leaders, and engaged community members. And now a word from our Vice President of Administrative Services.
Thank you, Darnell. Welcome, Fullerton family. I hope everybody's had a good summer break. I hope everybody's healthy and staying safe. Again, my name is Rod Garcia. I'm the Vice President of Administrative Services, and I'm just going to give us a quick update on all the projects that we completed and are actually on the way here with our facility department. Next slide. So one of our major projects is the new humanities building, as you can see here in a couple of pictures. Last week, we actually finished erecting all the steel. So you can see all that work, actually all the steel went up in about a 3-week span. So it's moved along pretty quickly. The next phase is going to be pouring the slab underneath, working on mechanical, electrical, utilities, installation. There is a link to a time-lapse video that I'll be sharing later on today with all staff. We were trying to embed it into this PowerPoint presentation, but it just wasn't working. So we will be sharing that later on today. Next slide, Lisa. Along with our instructional building, we have the central plant. The central plant is going to be an expansion of our current plant. It's right next to our current plant. It's going to add an additional 3 chillers and cooling towers, not only to help out with the load over the summer, but also without this expansion, the instructional building would not be cool. So we had to get this project done before the instructional building is done. So as you can see here, the masonry work will be actually completed this week, and most of the mechanical equipment should be arriving in October. Next slide, please. An update on the 300-500 renovation. We are going to be starting soon for pre-qualification for contractors with historical preservation experience. As you know, the 300 building is a historical building, so we need to make sure that the contractor has historical preservation experience. The construction start date is anticipated to be late 21, early 22, and currently we are working on the swing space planning for the 300 and 500 building. Next slide, please. So over the summer, we worked on a new sewer line for the 300, 500. As you can see here, how intrusive that work was. There was a lot of trenching going on between the Performing Arts building all the way to Lemon. We did install a whole new sewer line, and We're going to stop using the old sewer line that ran actually under the Performing Arts building. So this project was actually completed on July 7th. Next slide, please. Another important project is we are replacing the greenhouse in the horticulture area. The new greenhouse is going to be twice the size of the existing greenhouse. Along with these upgrades, we're also upgrading access to it and also bathroom improvements. The expanded greenhouse will allow enhancement to existing curriculum for career tech educational emerging fields. And this was funded with bond funds as well as strong workforce development funds. With the new sewer line, we are also working on storm drain repairs around the 300-500. We had to do this in 2 phases because of the sewer line project that we had. Phase 1 around the 100 building was complete, and now phase 2 next to the 300 building, we're gonna start this fall. So that's really repairing a lot of cracks in the sewer line, in the storm drain line, as you can see here in one of the pictures. We have been working for the past 5 years in a lot of energy saving projects. The state had funded a 5-year program. We are in the last year of this program. We have spent $2.5 million in energy saving projects that have been completed. That is an estimated energy savings of 1.5 million kilowatt hours annually. The final project that we're currently underway on is including the replacement of the incandescent house lighting fixtures in the theater, as well as installing LED fixtures in the 700 and the 900 building. One of the things that we've been doing for the last couple semesters is we've been leasing an off-site parking lot next to the Walgreens on Chapman and Raymond. And I'm glad to report that last week we actually closed escrow on this lot. So we are now the official owners of this lot. This is about 125 stalls. This was to help offset the parking that we lost due to the humanities building. And this will also allow us, and we'll continue to look around the city for additional off-site use in order to be able to expand our off-site lot availabilities. One of the things that we've been working on over the summer, for those of you that drive by the campus, the property that we owned in Chapman Newell, which were 4 residential homes that were vacated, and they've been vacated for, I want to say, a good 15 years. What we did is we owned vacant lots south of Wilshire. We sold those lots, and one of the stipulations was that the owner of the new lot had to move 2 of the homes that were deemed historical to this lot. As you can see here in one of the pictures, those homes have been moved to the new lot. So now we're currently working on a RFP for demolition and grading for that area. So that area is going to be a temporary parking lot for the time being until we start planning for a new building. And that will be another additional 80 to 90 parking spaces. We finally got approval from DSA. We've been working for at least, this project was supposed to happen over the winter break. It did not happen because DSA was not approving the plans from Southern California Edison. We finally got approval. So we are moving forward with the 44 additional electric vehicle charging stations. They are going to be located on the first floor of the south side of the parking structure. It's about a 6-week construction project, and we're tentatively to start in September 21st. All the infrastructure will be paid from Southern California Edison. The only thing we had to do is purchase the actual stations at a discounted rate. So this is a win-win for both us and Southern California Edison. Next slide, please. We are working on a netting project. This is for a lot of different areas. One of them is our baseball field. As you can see in some of these pictures, we do have gaps in our netting. So we are going to continue to go ahead and fill those gaps, not only for that corner gap that you see here, but also extend some of it on the left field fence, because we do continue to get baseballs hitting cars out there. We are going to also extend the the netting on the softball field for air and foul balls, as well as add a new fencing between the outfield of the baseball field and the soccer fields, because we've been having a lot of issues with baseball flying over to the soccer field while they're having practice. So we're going to be expanding that netting as well. I am pleased to announce that all the single stall restrooms have been changed to gender inclusive restrooms. So that was 16 restrooms. So that brings a total of 20 restrooms for our campus as inclusive, gender inclusive restrooms. These restrooms are available to students, faculty, and staff. All the restrooms are single stall restrooms, and they all have now privacy locks. Moving forward with all our construction projects, we will have gender inclusive restrooms. For instance, our new humanities buildings actually include 2 inclusive restrooms on every floor. Next slide, please. One of the things, we are making a lot of upgrades to the campus due to COVID-19. One of those upgrades, as you can see in this picture here, is we're planning to convert all the power push buttons for the automatic openers for the buildings to touchless. We have did a pilot in the 3000 building, as you can see in that picture. So once everybody's able to come back on campus, our goal is to be able to have anybody to be able to enter into any building without actually having to open up a door physically. Larry Lara, director of our facilities, has also been working with our deans and our department heads to plan the installation of plexiglass barriers located where social distancing cannot be maintained. We're doing that across campus. We're also had purchased hand sanitizer stations, and they'll be placed for now in buildings where in-person labs will be held. But in the future, there will be a hand sanitation station at every entrance of every building. We also acquired sanitation foggers for our PE, health, career center, and custodial staff, as well as we've strategically put up stop the spread and wash your hand posters in the buildings where we have in-person labs. Next slide, please. And the last update that I have here, as you can see here, we have over the summer planted 6 new purple orchid trees in our quad. So hopefully as they grow in, this will provide not only a nice look, but also shade for our students and our staff on our quad. And even though these are just some of the projects that I'm mentioning here, we have plenty more projects that we're currently working on and are going to be working on in the future. So with that, I want to thank everybody and welcome everybody back to our fall semester 2020. And I'm going to hand it over now to Dr. Contreras.
Good morning, Fullerton College. Welcome to the fall 2020 semester. My name is Gilbert Contreras. I am the Vice President of Student Services. Since March 2020, our students have endured a global pandemic, overt structural racism, and economic uncertainty. We have learned so many valuable lessons from the 20,575 students that will fill the Fullerton College classrooms this fall 2020. Our students are resilient. Our students persist. Our students inspire us with hope. We have learned many valuable lessons over the past 5 months as individuals, as diverse communities, and as a college. Many of our weaknesses as a society were amplified during this time, such as student access to technology, student access to food, student access to housing, student access to mental health support. We were reminded that our approach to education should focus on changing our institutions to be part of our students' lives and not expect our students to change their lives to be part of our institutions. We learned that we can no longer postpone difficult conversations about racism. We can no longer ignore that higher education was built upon tenets of racism. We were reminded that Black students at Fullerton College experience the impact of these truths. As educators, We scrambled to restore what we defined as, quote, normal. And we were reminded about what makes Fullerton College the standard of excellence in the California community college system. In this time of a global pandemic, overt racism, and economic uncertainty, our teammates stepped forward to live up to the vision of Fullerton College, to transform lives and inspire positive change in the world. Our faculty, classified professionals, part-time faculty, managers, professional experts, hourlies, alumni, community members, and students have used their voices and actions to counter untruth with truth and boldly assert that Black lives matter. These same groups of people have devoted countless hours to Fullerton College students and to each other to combat the digital divide, to provide food for our hungry students, and to let the communities we serve know that we are here. The last 5 months have reminded us about the importance of leadership. Leadership matters. Leadership matters. As I start my 5th year at Fullerton College, I am reminded that I am part of a very special team of leaders that will leave a legacy defined by excellence. In this definition of excellence are measures of equity outcomes, not merely objectives. An excellence defined by collective ownership, not fragmented advocacy. Thank you, Dr. LaBounty. An excellence defined by unwavering commitment to continually challenge our policies, practices, and beliefs as we strive to fulfill the promise of the California community college system, where all people can achieve upward social mobility through education. Despite a global pandemic, despite overt racism, despite the magnitude of the current uncertainties that define our moment in world history, Fullerton College leads with love. During the fall 2020 semester, Fullerton College will continue to meet the basic needs of our students with the Healthy Hornet drive-thru on Thursdays, laptop distribution, and free Wi-Fi in parking lot 4. All of these campus efforts will utilize health and safety standards to protect our employees and students. These tremendous equity-focused services take hard work and heart. There are too many people to thank for making these opportunities available to our students. But I want to thank all the, quote, essential workers for showing up for our students. I especially want to thank Vice President Rod Garcia for his vision and support of these efforts. Outside of Sonia Duran, Dana Timmermans, and the amazing EOPS Care CalWorks FYSI team, Rod is among the essential workers placing groceries in the vehicles of our students. It speaks volumes about Vice President Garcia. Next slide, please. Fullerton College will continue to provide services remotely. You can find these important resources on the college website or at vpss.fullcall.edu. You will see that all our support services have successfully transitioned to remote environments. I want to point out that Academic Support Center will provide 24/7 tutoring via smart thinking and live chat. The library will provide students with opportunities to pick up materials with the library curbside pickup program. A&R, financial aid, counseling, and the vast array of support services and support programs are available to students remotely. We are here. Let students know we are here. Again, please visit the college website or vpss.fullcall.edu to learn more. I am beyond proud of the work we have done together as we have transitioned our vibrant campus to a vibrant remote campus. When our students needed us the most, we responded. On March 16th, it seemed impossible, insurmountable, and unfathomable to transform our classrooms into remote classrooms. Yet despite a number of challenges, instruction resumed on March 18th. On behalf of a grateful college, thank you, faculty, for rising to this challenge. Thank you, Darnell Kemp, and all the people you listed in your talk for rising to this challenge. Thank you, faculty. On March 16th, it seemed impossible, insurmountable, and unfathomable to provide students with holistic support services remotely. With only a handful of employees with laptops and only 2 people with VPN access, we were up against some tremendous odds. Fullerton College Student Services launched a remote services website on March 30th. Thank you, Student Services, for your creativity, compassion, and tireless commitment to serve students. Thank you, classified professionals. Thank you, managers. Thank you, part-time faculty. Thank you, professional experts and all hourly employees. Thank you, administrative services. Thank you, institutional effectiveness. Thank you, campus communications. Thank you, campus safety. Thank you, facilities. Thank you, academic computing. And again, thank you, classified professionals. As a college, as good teams do, we found each other when we faced adversity. There is much work to do to overcome this global pandemic and to combat racism. We are far from perfect, but collectively we are strong, and we will continue our tradition of innovation at Fullerton College. In closing, I want to thank Adrian Malstead and Eli Hebert. These 2 professional experts are simply stellar and played an instrumental role transitioning student services to remote formats. We have prepared a short video to share with all of you as we reflect on our college from March until now. I am grateful to work alongside each and every one of you. Let's have an amazing fall 2020. Go Hornets!
I love Fullerton College. A century of tradition, a century of innovation. But what makes Fullerton College so special is the people. And what I miss most is all of you, the faculty, the staff, the students, the vibrant campus. I miss all of you. Let's get ready, Hornets! Fall 2020, turn up, let's go. Let's go, we're number 1. Let's go, Hornets, Fall 2020.
2020.
Well, you guys are fantastic. Go Hornets, everybody. You're just the best.
Go Hornets 2020.
Go Hornets 2020.
Go Hornets 2020.
Go Hornets 2020.
Thank you, UPS. Go Hornets 2020.
Go Hornets 2020.
Go Hornets 2020.
Go Hornets 2020. Yeah.
Thank you, Office of Financial Aid. Go Hornets 2020. I so much forward to the trip out here. We have a great time. Shout out 2020. Go Hornets. Go Hornets 2020. Woo! Go Hornets 2020. Woo! Go Hornets 2020. And Umonda. Go Hornets 2020. Shout out to the health center. Go Hornets 2020. Go Hornets 2020. Thank you to UPS and Progress for all that you do for helping your students. Go Hornets 2020.
All right, wow. I really miss our students. And I miss our Fullerton College family. What an inspiring message. As we conclude our convocation program today, I want to thank all those who made this program possible, especially our stars from Campus Communications. When it comes to teams in Campus Communications, there's no one better. Thank you, Lisa, Jasmine, Melissa, Carolyn, and Summer. Thank you for your outstanding work. I also want to acknowledge and thank Dr. Barbara Densheath, our Vice President of the Board of Trustees, who's also participating with us virtually. Thank you, Dr. Densheath, for your support. I will see many of you later today as a small group of campus leaders visit your division meetings throughout the early afternoon. And for the rest of our colleagues, we look forward to seeing you virtually and as soon as it's safe in person. I wish each of you a safe, rewarding semester, and let's have a good fall. Go Hornets.